Here talking to Nicole. How are you doing today?
It's a beautiful day out. It's not always drugs and alcohol that is causing a family to be homeless. A loss of a job, loss of the partner, a parent, having the person that you're living with suddenly die and then you cannot afford it. Having special needs kids means that you have to be able to financially support, emotionally support your child and yourself. If you get burned out, it's a downward spiral. And I started off in a downward spiral because I had postpartum depression with each baby. And then my own mental health issues, and then starting at 4, a little boy attacking me on a daily basis. Mental health people were telling me I was a terrible parent. That gets you down, that gets you depressed, that makes you defeated, that makes it really hard to even maintain a job without panic attacks every day. It's hard to stay sane for your children and not shut down. And the fact of the matter is, families who are homeless are not bad parents.
Resources were actually available to you when you were homeless.
Okay, so we moved to find resources. We moved into our van from Calhoun County to Kitsap County because there was more resources available. Not everybody is going to have that ability. We lived in our van with CPS's okay. We were told that he was too old for the women's shelter, so the only shelters we were allowed to go into were general population, which means he would be separated from me, which was not okay. So we didn't have the shelters. We were also dealing with a domestic violence charge against him, so we didn't really have the domestic violence shelters because he had a charge against him. So we didn't have those resources. So we had our van, and we had friends who provided us with sleeping bags and meals. We went to the YMCA. You can get in once a day for 1 hour as a homeless person for showers. The Kitsap County, you can go cook in the Silverdale. If you have a membership, you can cook in Silverdale and you can cook in Gig Harbor. Churches that did the meals, those were really great. The Coffee Oasis for teens 13 to 25 was a really good resource. It gave my son a safe place to be away from me, and then I could have decompression time, because living in a van with an autistic PTSD teenager was intense. Being homeless, you are able to use all of the food banks. Silverdale would give you a lot of food, and other places would just give you a sack lunch. And so depending on where I was working that day, because my job took me everywhere, I could then go get lunch.
What resources did you find were inaccessible to you?
The shelters. Keeping my food cold during the summer. I would have friends freezing a gallon of water, and that would last a day. And so one of the things that'd be absolutely great if homeless shelters or churches or for the food banks would have those gallon jugs frozen, and you could just bring in and switch them out, because there's solutions that you can make that'll make the ice last so much longer. And that would be like a super awesome way of keeping a cooler for the youth on the streets and the families living in their cars, so that they can actually have food. There was also, during the burn ban, I wasn't able to use the fire pits at the parks, and so that curtailed my cooking ability. But a good resource was Fred Meyer has microwaves.
Oh.
And so you could just go in, buy food, and then you can always get hot water at Starbucks, so you could do soups.